YouTube, how we doing? Pass the prop back here yet again. It is Monday. It is our Monday show. We got a week 2 recap. We got 2 NFL games to break down tonight. Doing as always. Stu, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Can't complain. I mean, had a really good week, luckily, on the props department for me. So that always feels good. You know, it's a lot easier to go in with a positive, fun recap, than a negative one. So yeah, I'm fired up. And ready to talk about some football. We have 2 really good games. Like when I looked at the slate, the Bucs Texans one was honestly one of the ones that caught my eyes first, and I was almost kind of bummed out that I had to wait until Monday. So definitely hyped for that game tonight.
Yeah, it should be a good one at Houston tonight. So that'll be a great game to talk about there. And then obviously we have the late night hammer, which is the Raiders Chargers. So that'll be a fun one we'll get to talk about there. But of course, we have to start out with our recap from the week. Before we get into our bets, Stu, I'll let you kind of be first on what you want to talk about here about the week and anything you want to touch on.
Yeah, well, I'll say you probably have to lead this conversation more because for the first time in like a while, I missed most of yesterday's slate. I caught the first half of the 1 p.m. slate until about the third quarter, and then I was gone. I missed the rest of it. So, I have very minimal things to say besides the fact that I'm fired up. My bets won, but I didn't actually really watch a ton of the games. I was really pissed off the Broncos lost. I had them including as one of my survivor entries. So that was a bummer to lose them right there. But overall, yeah, good week. But yeah, you're going to have to bring up the more interesting things because I really only caught the first half of the first games.
Yeah, no, I'll obviously talk about that Cowboys game when I get to my bet recap there. But dude, I really liked a lot of these games, man. I want to give myself my first pat on the back of the season. I'm going to give my pat on the back because Daniel Jones is doing what I fucking said he was going to fucking do. And he started on my team twice. 29 DK points and then 26 in back-to-back weeks. Phenomenal stuff. Absolutely great. I'm really happy to see him thriving out there. And also, I am really loving my bet with my buddy who's the Bears fan talking about Colston Loveland versus Warren. Warren is a fucking dog, bro. Absolute dog. Another 40-yard completion this week. Dude's amazing after the catch. Does a lot of stuff. He got another rush attempt in the red zone, but obviously didn't punch it in. But, yeah, shout out the Colts, man. I want to give them their flowers. And I'm going to go, again, a little bit off the radar here because I want to put another guy out there that really impressed me this week. I know they lost. I know they're 0-2. But I shut the Eagles game off. I literally had no interest in watching that fucking football game at all after the first half. And I watched that Cardinals game, bro. Cardinals-Panthers. Bryce Young, dude. That dude is putting up some numbers in these game scripts where they're behind. But watching that game, first 2 possessions, a fumble return for a touchdown, and then an interception on his arm getting hit. I mean, you take those away, dude. He had like 325. He was making good throws to Jatavian Sanders, a guy I drafted a lot in best ball really late in drafts. He looked good. Hunter Renfrow, we got a couple of pieces of him. 7 catches. Bryce Young, dude, I thought he looked a lot better, especially in a spot where Arizona knew he was in passing situations, and he still was able to get stuff done. So I want to give him his flowers as well. I was very impressed with him because obviously I watched that game. I was not watching that fucking Kansas City game. It was fucking boring as shit. And I'm tired of just watching this tush push 7 times in a game, dude. It's just I think they have like 2 or 3 full starts and they just won't call it. So I'm like, I'm done. I don't even watch them. So I'm good with not watching the Eagles until we just have to see them in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, I saw Josh Norris, one of the underdog guys, talk about that. He's like one of the most level-headed guys out there. He's not a reactionary dude. So when you see someone like him talk about how it kind of ruined the viewing experience, I was like, oh, wow, I've never seen this guy say anything, negative like that. So yeah, I heard it was a pretty boring game. I did have the Eagles and then like Thornton longest reception. So luckily for me, it went according to plan. But man, I didn't watch obviously, but I mean, got to get Mahomes some help, throwing to fucking Hollywood, Thornton, and 80-year-old Kelsey just isn't going to cut it against good teams. You know what I mean? You can beat up bad teams, but even before, an Eagles level team is what it took to beat you. Now a Chargers level team is what it takes to beat you. So I don't know. Kansas City's really got to start showing something. It's time to stop riding reputation. We got to add to, I don't know if Tyreek Hill trade is what happens, but with how he's looked, I mean, who even knows where Tyreek Hill is at this point, but something's got to happen.
Yeah, I mean, Tyreek put up 100 again this week. I mean, the Tua looked good this week. I was very impressed after that bounce back week. We got, I guess I'll just lead us into your bet because obviously you were in that same game. But I was happily impressed with that Miami offense. It's the guys that you were drafting high. He didn't really throw it to anybody else outside of Waddle, Hill, and Achane. It's exactly what you want, dude. It's exactly what you want as anybody who's been a part of this Miami offense that you're trying to take and get pieces of. Tua is one of the most condensed quarterbacks here in the NFL, and you got to love it if you're a Miami. I guess not if you're a Miami backer. I'm assuming they're not going to obviously do too much, but as a fantasy owner, I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I'm a real life hater and a fantasy backer because they correlate. If you're trailing, you're going to be throwing a lot, And yeah, I mean, I agree they looked better. It was kind of what we expected in the sense that, like, you obviously aren't going to turn the ball over like 4 out of 5 times or whatever in your first 5 drives, But yeah, still no run game, obviously, which is, I feel like, for me, kind of hard to take a team seriously. We'll talk about that with the Texans in a little bit here. But if you can't, Achane is awesome. But I mean, if you have no offensive line, then he's going to put up wide receiver stats, which my fantasy team loves to see. I believe he went 8 for 70 through the air, which is like so awesome to get from your running back. So like you said, still great from like a fantasy perspective, but I just don't know how many games the Dolphins are actually going to win. And even on the Patriots side too, we won this bet. Shout out to Drake May. When are we going to start being a little bit more critical of this guy? Like, what does it have to? I know he's 6'4", white guy, good looking. He's got all the things that the media loves, But man, like, he hasn't lived up to the expectation yet. Against a team like the Dolphins, you should be able to do better. You should be able to have like a career game, not kind of skirt by and just win. You know what I mean? Because it was shaky at times, you know what I mean? And their offensive line is awful, so that you get some leeway there as well. They got Morgan Moses, who's kind of bad, but if he's out, then you're starting a 7th round rookie. So then you're in hell at that point. So it's like there's some problems, no doubt about it. But I feel like we need to step it up a little bit before we maybe have to start asking some of those questions. He's kind of looking like Trevor Lawrence-ish, where he's not like awful or anything, but he's not like amazing either.
Yeah, and talking about one of my boys who I love, man, Dak. He was the reason I had a huge week this week. I had his 300 passing yards, got crazy with that Malik Neighbors and stuff. 1 week late on Neighbors, which is annoying, right? It always happens, right? You're always just 1 week behind on taking the guy that you want and putting up some good numbers here. But damn, dude, I was really impressed with Dak. And mind you, he did this. He hit this in like the third quarter, and he had 3 completions in the first quarter because the Giants held the ball for the whole quarter. So he really did this in 2 quarters and really without CeeDee Lamb for the entire duration of when he hit this prop. Jake Ferguson fucking should have started him over Njoku this week. That was my fault. That was terrible. But my God, dude, this dude is awesome. Moved all the way up to 4th in passing yards in the NFL right now. Russell Wilson 1. Daniel Jones 2. Jared Goff 3. Nice. I'm feeling pretty fucking good about Dak Prescott being behind in more games than those guys, and having to rely on fucking Javonte Williams, and the other guys have Jonathan Taylor, fucking Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, like loaded running back groups. And then obviously you don't even know if Russ is going to finish the season as a starter, but you got to put something in there. I thought he looked fantastic until that fucking pick at the end of the game because he was pressured, but 450 yards, crazy, absolutely crazy. I got to give my Badger some shout out there because he actually looked really, really good. Obviously, Neighbors making some crazy plays. Wan'Dale Robinson, crazy numbers there. He looked great as well, but yeah, it sucks they lost. I had the Cowboys in a few parlays, so I'm happy they won. But they threw Jackson Darden in the third quarter. I mean,
I saw.
Why are you running these plays for him at this critical spot, dude? You're down 3. What? I don't understand, Dable. I don't, but it is what it is. So.
It's just weird, but yeah, no, I mean, I was a fan of Dak. I told you on this, obviously, that I had touchdowns, which was sweaty, but he ended up going over thanks to the overtime, obviously, and the Pickens catch at the end there. But yeah, from watching, it was slow start. You know, they didn't get off to, like you said, they didn't even get on the field really. The defense was kind of giving them some problems, and then Dak just adjusted, and they got the job done. You know, it was like a slow first quarter, and then from there on, they did exactly what we expected. I'm so mad I didn't bet Wandale, dude. I think I talked about it on Spaces before, but like the Cowboys slot corner was out, Bland, and they just had nobody. They had just nobody there, and Wandale just did whatever. And then that's with Neighbors, you know, going for 167. Neighbors killed my Jamar Chase to lead the week in receiving yards as well at 10-1, where he had 165 and Neighbors had 167. So fuck you, Neighbors. You didn't have to be that good. You know what I mean? Just 5 less yards and we could have been cool. But either way, you know, that was like you said, very entertaining game for sure. Probably game of the week.
I'll put one in that kind of reverses what you just said, because obviously you're mad about Neighbors doing that. I was so hyped because I had Dak to lead the 1 p.m. slate in passing yards. In my book is like an offshore, so it's not like huge or anything. It's just whatever it is. Didn't have Russ as an option, so I won the bet because he wasn't on the list. It was like the top 10 quarterbacks. All of them were in the options there. But Russ throwing that gets Dak to go back out there and get over 300, push past. Because Burrow was like 2-1, and I think Lawrence was up there as well, but Dak was like 6-1. So I ended up getting very, very lucky that Russ ended up going for 450 and not being on the list, because it did cash the bet, which is I didn't expect it to, obviously. So, yeah, you want to talk about Burrow at all, about that stuff?
Well, I mean, he got hurt. He's going to miss 3 months, you know, right? Sucks. I don't know what I'm not a doctor, you know. I don't know. I mean, I feel it reminds me of Andrew Luck, you know, where it's just like, how much can this guy gets hurt like every time he drops back, and you kind of want to blame the organization a little bit. Like, I feel like you could have protected this guy a little bit better. He's your franchise, and I know you got to pay Higgins and Chase and all those guys, but man, like every year it just seems like he gets killed back there. So Burrow's great, but I mean, I think they're surprisingly going to be okay without him still too. What's his name? Browning coming in, just check down. Like, they're not going to be good, but I don't think they'll be awful with him not there. But what, is he going to come back for playoffs? I saw, 3 months or something? I don't know what the timeline is exactly, but we'll see, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. You have to assume they're probably not even going to be there. With that defense, but hey, maybe Browning just made too many mistakes, man. It was just way too many mistakes. But yeah, I think he had 3 picks and he only played a half, so that was tough. But yeah, dude, we end up sweeping that, so it moves us to 7.5 there, 0.75. And I guess I could talk about my long shot because I was disgusted here. The Bears are fucking dog shit. I know this was only a quarter unit bet, and I shouldn't be this critical of it, but Lawrence smoked it. He had like 280, and I'm like, Caleb Williams is at like 160 in the third quarter, like 3 minute down 14, and then they just 3 and out twice, go down 30, and then they bench him, and he got to 2-0. I think he was at 208 with like 13 minutes left, and then they just didn't play him anymore, and they sat him for the last 30. I'm like, I get it, you don't want him to get hurt, but like you can't. I mean, even if you're doing it, like, just run it with, like, you guys aren't cohesive offensively. Like, you should be, you know, even if it has to be throwaways or dump downs quick, I don't think they were getting too many sacks on them, right? It was all really based on, 3 and outs, turnovers. They couldn't run the football, which I kind of expected here. My God, dude. Like, I just don't know. That Bears team is horrendous. They are horrendous. And, I kind of liked watching J.J. McCarthy be asked to. That was kind of what I've been saying the whole time, having 0 shares of that, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have anything in that Bears-Lions one. I was just worried. Like, I don't know. That game scared me, man. Like, Lions, you just knew they were going to show up. Like, there's no way a team like that with Campbell, like, doesn't. I thought it would be more like and it was on the ground, but, I figured it'd be like a ground heavy attack. Amon-Ra was really good early as well. But, yeah, they just couldn't respond. They couldn't keep him in the game. I saw an interesting quote from my guy, Thor. Great college football guy, great prospect guy. And he was talking about it in the offseason. So before we even seen kind of these struggles. And he was saying that Ben Johnson is a guy that, like, he's a director that writes everything out word for word and wants you to follow it to a T. He wants you to memorize it and he wants you to execute his game plan. And Caleb Williams is the exact opposite. Everything Caleb Williams has ever done that's good is off script. And that's what makes him special. That's what made him interesting. But he sucks on script. So you got a guy that only operates off script with a coach that only wants to operate on script. And I thought that was a really good way to put it, because I think Johnson is good and I think he can help a lot of people. But I don't know if Caleb Williams is really the right fit for that. I think we're already seeing some of those things come into play early. So I felt like that was a very good perspective on it. I think we're kind of seeing that play out so far.
Yeah, no, I don't mind that take at all. It's just tough because Caleb tries to make, these crazy plays happen. It's just sometimes you just gotta fucking eat it and take your L on each play, So it's tough. It's tough to really, fault Ben Johnson when it's gonna take a little bit, right? But everybody loves going with the new shiny thing, right? Everybody loves the new shiny toy, and I don't know. I really thought I was going to get Williams there, especially when they went down to 2 touchdowns there and going for it on 4th and 1, up 28, just to shove it in fucking Ben Johnson's face. I thought that was hilarious. If they weren't so close to friends, I think they probably would have gotten into a fight, bro. But what the fuck are you throwing the ball for? There's 2 minutes left and you're throwing it to your all-pro, like, man. I don't know. All I know is that Bears team ain't going to win a game for like 6 weeks because they have no Jalen Johnson. Who the fuck's going to guard anybody? CD might go for 300 next week. Like, who the fuck is guarding him? Tell me that. Who the fuck is guarding him? Amon-Ra just went for that. And
well, yeah, Kyler Gordon, their slot's good, and he went out before that game. So no one to guard the slot, obviously, is going to hurt you again against CD as well. So I'm with it. To lead the league in receiving yards could be a good look there for CD next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's take a look at the chat here quick, and we will get it rolling into these games. Tyrone kind of talking to you about that Drake May stuff as well. Yeah, that Cowboys game was money, dude. That 7X my DFS lineup that I had, having Dak, no CD. I went Dak, no CD, Pickens, Ferguson, which was like 8, 3, and 4% owned on those guys. Ran it back with Neighbors, who dropped 48 at 8%. So that was a very nice one there. Had Ted McMillan as well and Tyler Warren, and went with the rookies in that lineup. It was a pretty good lineup there, so I was feeling good about that. We also will talk about our dog, which is going to be coming up here shortly. 2-0. Your boy's 2-0 to start the year with almost 3 units on these fucking dogs, bro. And my other dog's on the fucking slate tonight that won me one last week, so we'll start getting to that here in a second. We got some Bengals boys going back and forth. Our guy Bobby Boucher and Ennie in there as well. Professor T bringing up everything that I talked about there with Dak as well. I don't know, dude. I just hope the Bears just sell out to stop the fucking run, bro. I want to see Dak throw for 400. I wanted to see him fucking sling it 50 times. He had 36 completions this week, dude. 36 Put that in perspective. Dude, I don't think I've ever seen a game like that in my life with Brandon Aubrey kicking that 64-yarder that actually counted. Yeah. My God, dude.
Cheat code. Absolute cheat code. Insane.
I think I just saw a thing. The Texans can't be dogs, are they?
No, they're not.
Okay. So I was like, damn, am I crazy? Am I crazy?
Yeah, minus 2.5.
Yeah, I was going to say. But hey, Cashville, you already know, bro. You already know I'm going to have bets on both these guys today. They literally are my 2 favorite. Daniel Jones is this year's Geno. Yeah. Is this year's Geno, which was last year's Baker for me. 3 years ago was my Tom Brady. I think Daniel Jones is going to take the spot of these guys because I pick it every year. The guy I'm going to roll with here, and Baker and Geno the last 2 seasons for me have been my boys here. So, Yeah, hit that like button too. We appreciate you, Cashville. 45 you guys in here in the first 20 minutes. We appreciate all the support as always. And let's get this thing rolling here, Sue. Let's get this thing rolling. We have Tampa Bay, Houston to start us off. Actually, fuck, I forgot. I literally just talked about it. Talk about the dogs here. Seattle Seahawks, bro. Money line, baby. Hey, all I'm saying, feeling fucking good about my division bet. I understand that San Francisco won, but that defense looked fucking horrible. That defense looked fucking horrible. Spencer Rattler, 3 TDs on your ass, bro. I don't think he's going to throw for 3 TDs the next 3 weeks combined, bro. And he carved them. So I'm feeling fucking good about Seattle. McDonald's still one of my higher guys for Coach of the Year. I'm hoping I might sprinkle on him because I already have a bet on LaFleur because he's my guy and I had to at 22-1. He's down to 8-1. But Mike McDonald, man, doing his thing. Shout out Kenneth Walker, baby. Shout out Kenneth Walker for just being that dude, man. Kenneth Walker and JSN pretty much just did the entire thing for him.
Yeah, I had 2 guys to lead the slate in receiving. I had Chase, obviously just missed, and then I had JSN as well, who got over 100 once again. I mean, just true wide receiver 1 usage. Like, he took that next step into that high level, and obviously I know you and me are both Seahawks guys. You did mention Coach of the Year, and you're a big Daniel Jones guy. I think Steichen could actually be a good call. I bet him last year, thinking the Richardson explosion would be there. Everybody liked Steichen before last year. Like, he was one of those like up and coming guys, and then you get one shit year where you're stuck with Anthony Richardson, and suddenly the whole world hates you again. You're on the hot seat. Now that they're looking good, one, nobody likes Daniel Jones, so people are going to give a lot of credit to the coaching staff. I don't know what the number is, but
the crappy part is he ended up pushing to be the favorite now. He's 7-1. He's 7-1 right now. So like I can't do it. Like I said, I have a 22-1 ticket on LaFleur from preseason. He's 8.5-1. So those are their top 2. But maybe that's why I said when you look down the list, like McDonald being 16-1 and like the 7th best option, in my opinion, is probably the best value right now on the board. Because you look down this thing that like Jonathan Gannon. I don't know if you watch. Cardinals fucking still are not good. They are not good.
They have like a really easy schedule. Like they have an easy path to like 6-0, which is kind of scary. I know you're hyping up and I'm with you. I have Seahawks overs as well. I'm fully with you. The Cardinals have a really fucking easy schedule. It's really concerning. I know we're like only Seahawks hype train over here, but I will point out that like the Cardinals have looked shit and they're playing bad teams, but they get to keep coasting. Like they get a really nice schedule, unfortunately.
All I'm saying is I don't think I've ever seen a fuck up that late in the game that bad. And they almost lost. They were up like 21-6.
Yeah.
And they almost lost. And Kyler Murray, you're in the red zone on a 2nd down with like 10 minutes left. Fucking throw the ball away. No, let me try to throw across my body. I get hit and I throw a pick. And then they don't even touch the ball really the rest of the game because Carolina gets the onside kick, which was pretty epic. I don't know why more teams don't do that. I don't know if you watched their onside kick, but the dude kicked it right at the front guy. So the guy was like running towards the ball. He didn't like see it right at him, smokes him in the arm, and then they just have 2 dudes just right on it. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Very sick.
We might have to see that more often because I think it's like a 3 or 4% chance of you actually getting it. But dog of the week, cashes again. Should have just taken that fucking money line, baby. Shout out Seattle. Very, very good team here. And like I said, I doubled up on it at 10-1 after last week. So I do have, I'm pretty exposed. I got a 5 and a 10-1 ticket on the Seattle Seahawks to win that division. So that I'm feeling pretty good about that. Shout out K-Walk, J-Bro bringing up here. Yeah, dude. I mean, Charbonnet, I feel like is in more of the negative game scripts. Even Kenneth Walker had 3 catches though. Shout out Kenneth Walker, baby. He's running hard, and he gets that lowly Saints team next week. Oh, my God. Give him 20 carries. Let's see that boy push 200. I think definitely something we could see. And he's taking out, like, big chunk runs right now, dude. He got a couple 20-yarders in there, too, and gets that touchdown at the end. So, yeah, last one we got here. We got a new guy in here, new viewer, just sub, smash the like button. Thank you, man. We appreciate you jumping in here. Let's get this baby going. I think it's that time. Today we'll start out with the Bucs and Texans, the 6:00 game here Central Time, 7 Eastern. Bucs heading to Houston. Texans are sitting at a 2.5 Point favorite here, over under is at 42.5. It's been moving down slowly but surely all week. That is the second leg of a teaser that I have on the under 49.5 for me. So I'm hoping we can keep that staying under. Stu, I know you're the guy with this bet in this game. I won't make you talk about the bet yet. What is your thoughts here? Obviously picking one of the 4 sides that we do always in these showdown slates.
Yep, just gave the tweet a little retweet there as we dive into the games. Just like 25 is a little long on the recap, so sorry about that if you were just trying to get to the bets. But hey, we had some fun stuff to talk about there. But yeah, I'm hyped for this game. I'm very hyped. I like the Bucs outright. I took a little bit of them at +3. It's now +2.5. I still like +2.5. I think this game should be a pick 'em. I get it's a Texans home game. Stroud's been a little bit better at home over the years as well. But man, like I don't see the upside with the Texans. If you've been watching already, I've been pretty critical of them, whether it was the Future Show or even last week a little bit as we kind of talked about just our general thoughts. And like what sums up the Texans is really simple. Their defense rocks, like no doubt about it. Great defense, well-rounded. They don't have shit on offense. They don't have an offensive line. They played 3 different offensive line combinations in week 1 already. They injured their center, so they're on a backup center. Like, it was already one of the worst in the league, and it's just a shit show. And now you get a Bucs team, and I'm trying to think, like, why I'm different than market, like, why I disagree on it not being a pick 'em. And I think it just comes down to I'm higher on the Bucs defense than I think most people are. They blitz a shit ton. They're not very deep, but when they're healthy, they're good. Vita Vea, obviously one of the best run stuffers in the league. You have to deal with him without your starting center. Good luck up the middle. That's going to be a shit show all game long. And then I like, their Diaby, Cansey, the guy they just added, Reddick, as well, who immediately came back and got a sack in his first game. Like they had Penix under pressure all game long, and they were getting criticized because it only led to 1 sack, but the pressure was there. Like they were blitzing, they were creating chaos, and I just don't think that this Texans offensive line is going to be able to put up with that. The problem is the Bucs essentially have the same problem on offense where they're likely to be down. We still have a questionable on the offensive line. That will be a big deal. And if you're a Bucs better like myself, we're really hoping that he's not ruled out there, obviously. But the Texans defense is likely also going to make life for Baker pretty tough. They have 2 amazing outside corners. So I think a lot of it's going to have to be quicker passes, their pressure is good. It's hard. The Texans defense is just fucking good, and they're good everywhere. It's kind of hard to exploit. I see people citing like season-long stats, which is really funny because we've only had 1 game. The one I was seeing was that they've given up the most yards in the slot this year. Well, yeah, Puka Nacua had 130 yards last week. Like, if any team plays Puka Nacua, their stats against the slot are going to look like shit because he's going to get 100 yards every game. So just seeing that was like really funny to me. Like, I don't know. There's just not a clear weakness. A lot of defenses, even good ones, like the Seahawks, they funneled you to the middle, short, quick passes. Like the Texans are just kind of good everywhere. And I imagine it will be more short, quick passes. Baker's going to have to get the ball out quickly. He's probably going to have to use his legs a little bit as well. But yeah, I just see 2 good defenses. I see 2 offenses with question marks, but I just really don't see the upside for the Texans here. So give me the dog. Let's go.
Yeah. No, I think I'm just worried about the price. I think I'm in the same boat as you where I feel like I should be on the Bucs, but I don't feel like Vegas can be this many points off. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I feel like this has to be like -110 straight or like maybe -120 to the Texans as a pick 'em money line. Like it just feels more than it should be. I get it. It's at home. I know they've been really good defensively at home, which is kind of something I can expect maybe that you see them maybe coming out, especially when they're on defense. I think that crowd will be kind of going crazy. It's going to be really hard to kind of run those up-tempo things that the Buccaneers like to do. It's going to be really hard to do that. I don't think you're really going to be able to do much no huddle in there when that stadium goes nuts because, like I said, I remember watching that Chargers game really vividly when they were playing Houston. And it was nuts there, dude. I know it was the end of the season. I know they were pushing for playoffs and all that stuff, but I don't know, man. I think that this Texans defense is legit. And that's why I kind of like the under. I think that'd be the way I lean. I don't think I could possibly bet the over in this game. It's just, I think both teams become one-dimensional here. I think they kind of have to. Who's running the ball here? Like, Nick Chubb going to go into that Vita Vea offense or defense? Vita Vea literally is, I don't even know my description word. He's just a game record. Like, you can't do anything. If he's not in there, completely different defense. But same thing goes for the Bucs. I don't see them being able to run the football here. I don't see Bucky Irving being able to run the football. They got really good linebackers there in Houston, and obviously probably one of the top 3 defensive minds in the game at head coach. So it's like, they're going to be locked in on that shit. They're going to be locked in at home on this one. So if I had to play any one of the 4, it's going to be that under. Like I said, I have a teaser with that under, and I got it at 49.5 because it's just been getting hammered down. It was like 45, I think, at open. Took money right away, and it kind of was sitting at that 43.5 yesterday. I grabbed that with the 6 points, and now it's down to 42.5 because I feel like people are kind of seeing it the way we are here, Stu. And this one will be a fun game. But, whenever you have a game that the totals get hit like this, you do want the money. You do want the plus money, and you do want that extra couple points there as well. So no fault at all on taking the Bucs here. I think I'd rather go with the under, if anything, on one of the 4 sides there. But that's enough talk from me. I do not have a bet in this game for the show purpose. Stu, we're on how many? I think we're at 5 of our last 6 right now, right? We're at 5 of our last 6. We had a 0-4 start. We're at 5-5 now, and now it's time to keep it rolling. Let's have a full week sweep here. Let's do it.
Sounds good. Yeah. I mean, I'll keep it simple then. We're going CJ Stroud over 21.5 completions, -105 over on FanDuel. Yeah, I mean, I like CJ passing props. And like when I said earlier, this is one of the first things I looked at. I see a question in the chat is about Nick Chubb rush yards, right? And for me, that plays into this prop a lot because that was also one of my first thoughts of the week. It's like, man, under 51.5 rush yards is like got to be a hammer. But my biggest problem with the Texans, and any Texans fan can tell you this in the past, is that not being able to run the ball has never stopped them from running. Like, they will do it. It doesn't matter if it's Dameon Pierce, if it's fucking no ACL, Nick Chubb. Like, they're going to keep going. And if it's a close game, which guess what? The Texans defense, they can make almost every game a close game. I think we're just going to see a ton of Nick Chubb into a brick wall. Like, I don't think they're going to innovate that much. And I think that's a lot of my concern for their ability to win this game is I think they only start using CJ a little bit more. Kind of when it's too late, when they're trailing at that point, And honestly, I think this could be a solid live one as well, where like he's going into the half with maybe 9-10 completions, but he has to pass a little bit more in the second half because they just can't get anything going on the ground. Additionally, if Chubb does suck, which they said they're going to lean into Chubb more this week, they used kind of everybody last week. But Dare is a good pass blocker. Dare Agumbawale, shout out to him, pass the prop legend. Cashed a couple tickets for me in the past as well. Love that guy. Good pass blocker. He'll probably get a catch or 2 come in on some of those reps. And then you got Woody Marks, who's a pass catcher out the backfield as well. He even got a touch or 2 last game. So I think once the Chubb experiment kind of fails, I think that's when CJ Stroud is going to take over. And I don't even know if CJ Stroud taking over, I don't even mean that in like a positive way. I don't know if he's going to like ball out. I see a lot of people on the passing yards. I like completions a lot more. I think it's going to be a lot more dumped down to Dalton Schultz, 5-yard pass at a time, 6-yard pass at a time. Because remember, the Buccaneers, like I like their defense. I like their line. They blitz. They're aggressive. They're trying to create havoc. They're trying to create mayhem. And what you have to counteract that with is quick passes, quick decisions. You can't go through all your progressions. You just have to get the ball out. And I was hoping we get a better bounce back number on Nico Collins this week. I thought it would be a little bit lower, but obviously you're not really getting a discount there at all. But Nico Collins is a guy that wins downfield. And when you don't have an offensive line that can protect you, I think you're just going to be a little bit less impactful. So what I would expect is I think he gets involved in the screen game a little bit more. I would not be surprised if we saw at least 2-3 design touches near the line of scrimmage just to get Nico Collins the ball. You want your best offensive player with the ball in his hands as much as possible. And I think those short yardage completions are the only way that you can actually kind of guarantee that you're going to be able to do that. And Dalton Schultz, I was on in week 1. All very juiced props now, but I like Schultz as well. I think he'll be kind of that safety blanket over the middle. Because when you look at it, like the Buccaneers defense secondary is nothing special. I think a lot of the strength really comes in that defensive line, and then their safeties are pretty good, obviously. And Zion McCollum is a good corner as well. He's improved and played some good ball recently, but it's just not a very intimidating secondary whatsoever. So what happens when you fail in the traditional run game, when you got the worst offensive line in the league going up against Vita Vea on the other side? You got to pass the ball. And I think it's kind of just as simple as that. So, yeah, I don't know. I like Chubb unders, but I'm just so concerned that they're going to give him 15, 16 carries. And even if he's only getting 3 yards per carry, he's going to sneak over those numbers. But you don't win a football game like that. You know what I mean? I don't think that's a winning recipe unless Baker is really bad, unless it's turnover city. And I think if we just get a somewhat competitive game, if the Bucs show up on offense, then CJ is going to have to pass the ball, whether he likes it or not. He looked awful last week, and he had 19 completions. He still got pretty close to this number. I think with a little bit of a downgrade, you're not getting Jared Verse anymore. You got a good defense, but you're not quite getting that Rams pass rush. It's a little bit of a downgrade, a little bit more time, but that same pressure, that same in your face all the time. And yeah, I just think CJ is going to have to dump the ball down more than people expect. And honestly, beyond Nico Collins, I talked about him, I talked about Schultz. Who wants to try to decipher the rest of these guys? I mean, Xavier Hutchinson, like, people are hyping this guy up. I've seen a lot of posts on Twitter. The routes are there, and I would say when in doubt, follow the route. So sure, that makes sense. He's not actually a very good football player. I've never been very impressed with Hutchinson, to be honest. I always kind of wanted Mechie to play over him when he was getting routes last year. Then they add in Justin Watson from the freaking Chiefs, who just magically appears on the field. They got 2 rookies, both the Iowa State boys over there. It's like, I don't want to pick between these guys. We got like 6 different options that could be getting. If Stover didn't break his freaking leg, there'd be 7. I wish my boy Stover was playing. That would be my hammer of the week. I would love to bet Cade Stover, but unfortunately, no dice. He's out for the year. So yeah, I just think CJ spreads it around, quick passes, gets the ball out fast, and once they fail to run the ball, he's going to have to do a little bit more work here.
Yeah, dude, I think it's I definitely would take completions over anything else, just because I maybe give him 1.8 seconds before he's on his back, bro. Like, I don't see how this offensive line holds up in this spot with sending extra guys. I don't even mind if you want to spray a dartboard of Tampa Bay guys to record a sack. I think that this could be one of those.
Fully agree.
Yeah, just like fucking. Just go down the list and just say yes, yes, yes.
I'm waiting for DraftKings to post their numbers because they didn't even do it yet. Because I'm so with you there. If they were giving us like Parsons at -110 and some of these other guys at 300 in your primetime game, then like, man, like I feel like some of these, Yaya could be at like 300, which would be insane. So I'm fully with that. I'm definitely going to be doing it. Just waiting for some more sack props to get posted. But I'm glad you called that out because I fully agree.
Yeah, and that was the only thing that when I was thinking in my head, like I kind of wanted to bet Stroud a little bit today too. Like that's the only thing that kind of got me to almost lean towards attempts was the fact that this fucking dude cannot take those sacks today. Like they do not have an explosive enough offense outside of a 50-yard bomb to Nico Collins to be able to get behind the sticks and continue to get first downs. Because if you're taking sacks and it's like 2nd and 17, they're fucked. They're going off the field. They can't give him enough time to get the ball down the field. So that's where I'm saying, like, that's where I'm like, maybe it's just like throw the ball away, count it for an attempt, and then we're good. So that's kind of like that was my only thing because I texted you. I was like, I'm kind of leaning into attempts, but almost plus money on this one. And you just got to hope that he can get that ball out quick on those dump downs and hopefully get a couple 2-minute drills where you can get, rack up a couple 4 or 5 in a whole round there. So Bobby Boucher bringing up plus 125 on 365 waiting for DK. Yeah, I think that's definitely a good look. A lot of plus money on those as well. So if you can grab those, that would not be a bad look.
100%. Yeah, I'm just waiting. DraftKings always has the best price there. So hoping
yes, sir.
They only have Levante David right now. It's just like, really? That like I know people know who he is, so maybe they click on it, but like that's just a trap. Like, what are we doing here? Let's get some actual pass rushers on the list, But hopefully that's coming sooner rather than later. And even on the other side, as I was looking, Hunter at 208 against Baker isn't too bad. Baker's great sack avoidance, but Hunter is like a top tier pass rush guy, and they have the same kind of offensive line issues. So I'll definitely be running a couple like sack parlays of some sort tonight just to try to capitalize on that upside a little bit.
Yes, sir. I did not see that he was out for the year. I did see he was out for a significant period, but I did not see the
that's
out indefinitely with a groin injury. That's what I saw. Dude, I am all in there with you, dude. Who does Washington play this week?
The Raiders.
Fuck.
That could be Geno. That could be Geno. I know you're thinking about that, but
no, it sucks because I have Dak as my bench quarterback and I start Jaden Daniels.
Okay.
So like they both are in fucking amazing. Who the fuck do I? I'm definitely starting Jake Ferguson next week. That's for goddamn sure. I'm tired of watching David and Njoku run 3-yard routes and fan and make these plays. So, all right, let's get to the last game of the week here. And it's the Chargers heading to Vegas. What a brutal way to start your season. Go to Brazil and then fly to Vegas. Like,
yeah.
I mean, in terms of like playing the game, that sucks. But man, you're a single guy in the NFL, bro. You're having a fucking time, bro, to start your year. Maybe they got out to Vegas a little early, like, damn, dude, not too bad. Can you imagine being like a Morion Hampton? It's your rookie season. You get to go fly out to Brazil, go chill, bro, beat the Chiefs up, and then get to fly to Vegas. Let's go, dude. What a start. What a start to the year outside of it's a little different than Chapel fucking Hill, North Carolina. You get to do that. So hell of a year, hell of a way to start your career, baby. Not too bad, but Stu, besides that, I'll let you talk about the game here, picking one of our four sides, and then I'll get into my bet.
No, we need people to like those Instagram investigators to see who's been like out late at the casino, Like I remember my boy CJ Abrams got busted at the MGM in fucking Chicago or whatever and got sent to the minors for the Nats last year out late. We need to find out who's like partying. They're always NBA guys that look for that kind of stuff, which is always very funny to see. So maybe someone in the chat can go investigate. I don't know who's a big party guy. But yeah, you could be seeing that for sure. But I'm hyped for this one too. The funny thing thinking about this one is both of these teams threw the ball a shit ton last week. Both of these teams were top 3 in neutral pass rate. So taking away trailing game scripts, taking away 2-minute drill garbage time, just coming out. And how often are you thinking both of these guys fucking chucked it? Vegas was number 1. I know Genty just came into town, but it's the Geno show. He number 1 last week in neutral pass rate. That's something. And I get they were getting stuffed in the run. That probably plays into it. That's probably not going to happen every week. But I think the Chargers are probably a little bit more well-equipped to kind of stuff the run. So I think we see more passing there. And then on the other side, the Chargers, the Roman offense, Harbaugh, what are these guys known for? Running the ball. Well, the Chiefs thought so too. And guess what? Came out, passed all over him, diced him up, caught him way off guard. Now, unfortunately, it would be the most Greg Roman thing ever to run the ball about 45 times today. Like, just in terms of vibes, I feel like that is so live. Like, we get, like, Najee Harris, 10 carries randomly, not even, like, Hampton, what people want. Like, I can just see them going from, like, such a fun, the fans are back on board, to just going back to the same old Chargers kind of bullshit, So I feel like we do have some shootout potential here. But also, I would expect both teams to run more. Like, I don't think either of these guys are going to be top 5 pass teams all year long. I think by the end of the year, that falls way down. But we'll see. I think it's going to be a good game. And yeah, I'll take the over.
Jane Daniels on an MRI on his knee.
Okay. Is there any news on
that?
Not
a long-term injury, but doubt status this week. He's in doubt.
Oh, that's not good. He was
they're about to get 40 piece. Oh my god, dude! The Raiders. Geno might throw for 500, bro. Might throw for 500, and I'm taking Vegas, bro. I don't have to, but hey, not a bad week to have Dak Prescott as your backup fucking quarterback. I guess.
So it's 6.5, right? Or whenever I saw it last, Washington were 6.5-point favorites. How far does that fall without Daniels?
1.5.
Because that's kind of my thought too, which is crazy, just how impactful. I mean, but pick them, maybe 1.5.
I would fucking take the Washington team total. Or not Washington team, but the Vegas team total, bro.
Who's going to be supporting Washington? And I'm on my phone right now. I just grabbed some 6.5. I would too. It's 5.5 in some spots now. Like if Daniels misses, he's so impactful to that team. I mean, like, yeah, it's rough. I mean, it's so rough. And honestly, though, I will say I think Mariota sneakily like a top 3 backup in football. So keep that in mind. I think totals might be a little bit better than money line, but at 6.5, that's value if Daniels doesn't play.
I mean, even if he does play and can't run, like that's
we saw it last year when he was just checking it down, not running. Yeah,
completions 27.5, Tom Brady-esque of Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels 27.5 completions is gonna be that line there, bro. But no, we sorry, I didn't mean to just throw a fucking whole wrench into the fucking breakdown or anything, but I just saw that. I'm like, well, Stu probably wants to know that, and the 61 of you guys in here as well probably want to know that before everybody else does. You have no idea. My wife fucking hates me for the amount of fucking buzzing this does for freaking. I'm on like all the different thing buzzing and shit. Who's texting you? I ain't getting text, bro. I don't get fucking
underdog.
I'm getting fucking underdog and fucking BT. Bleacher Nation and fucking everything, bro. I ain't getting text. What are we talking about here, bro? She's like,
man, that sounds like a great comedy bit right there. A girlfriend that thinks you're cheating on her, but it's just your fucking degenerate notifications, just underdog all day long. That's good. That's really good,
dude. And it's like 10:30 at night, and somebody just got fucking status in jeopardy, bro. And I'm like, I promise. We're fucking married for over a year now, and she's like, who's texting? Like, no one's texting me, bro. The only people that would be texting me right now are my other buddies who want bets. That's the only other fucking reason they'd be texting me that late. So just thought I'd get that out there, but that comes up way too much, and I'm sure, I don't know if any of you guys have that same thing, but I have way too much. Like during MLB season, it's horrible because I have all the lineups sent to my phone. So I, like when I was playing DFS religiously, and then it's like, boom, 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 and it was just horrible. But all right, let me get to my bet. I'll just get straight to my bet here. I'm going to be going with Geno over 33.5 pass attempts here. And I love what you talked about, obviously, the neutral game script and throwing the football there. They were winning for a decent amount of their game first week against the Patriots, and they still threw the ball around, right? I think Geno had 39 pass attempts here. And also, I did not like how inefficient that run game was. Everybody kind of thought that Genty was just going to get in there and just blow the doors off of everybody. But in my opinion, I think this Chargers front seven is better than New England, right? Obviously, I do downgrade New England significantly with no Christian Gonzalez, and that obviously is a huge, huge impact on him being able to just torch those guys. But mind you, he did all that and didn't have Brock Bowers for a quarter and a half. What would his numbers have looked like then, right? Because all those underneath routes were all of Brock Bowers. So I think that Geno's chucking this ball around the yard. You get Geno in a dome. That's why I love Geno so much in fantasy this year in my best balls, because he's throwing in a dome now at home. That's huge. Geno in a dome is absolutely lights out there. And also, I just think that this Chargers team, I don't know what they're going to do offensively, but we saw a lot better big play ability from them that can just get me that ball back to Geno a lot quicker. Because last year I was nervous playing the Chargers because they could hold the ball for 8 minutes and then I don't get shit. Yeah. But now I look at it this year, Ladd looked awesome across the middle there. You saw Quentin Johnson actually catching the ball, like 2 touchdowns or whatever it was. And they shut down the Chiefs' run game, right? And that was really what they tried to do, right? I think that it was like, I think their leading rusher was Mahomes. I think and he had one big run that really kind of blew up the numbers there. But Pacheco and Hunt 10 for 41, right? Like they shut them down. And I think that if it becomes a spot here where you can't run the ball, I thought about taking Genty receiving yards because I can't imagine they're trying to put Zamir White in this fucking game where he Mostert fucking coach's decision scratch, right? So it's like you're just sitting there, ass. So you have elite skill players. Obviously, Jacoby Myers has just been awesome out there. And Brock Bowers, I don't think he's going to be limited at all. I have bets on Brock Bowers already. The thing is, I don't listen to one fucking thing Pete Carroll ever says. I think he's fucking full of shit. But Brock Bowers even said he felt good, right? Brock Bowers, like, I could have probably came back in that game last week, but they were winning and they kind of had control of that game late in the game. So I do really like Geno in this spot. Obviously, you guys, if you've been watching the show for years, Gino was my first island boy, dude. He was my island guy. I was out there fucking throwing my neck out there under the line there. I think last year was Baker. Now like I said, I'm on that Daniel Jones island, but now we're here. We got Gino, and he's still a favorite, bro. I still love this dude, and I don't know why he doesn't get more love in fantasy spaces or anything like that. But this dude makes two guys. He gives you two guys in fantasy that you can get. You start every single week in Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, and obviously Bowers probably the number one tight end in football right now. So sign me up. Gino over 33.5 passes. I think he throws it across the yard here, even if they're winning. I think that they know that this Chargers offense really has kind of shown that they can come back now, right? They're not like a team that just can play from ahead. They have the ability to get the ball downfield, and I really like the spot for Gino.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, just underrated player in general, guy that really didn't get his due in the NFL, obviously, until way later and then made the most of it. And yeah, he looked fantastic in week 1. Yeah, I will probably push back a little bit. I think it's probably a little bit easier of matchup for Genty in the trenches. I think, just in general, that's the one spot that they kind of upgraded the Patriots in the offseason and they put a little bit more attention to. But still, I got to see it first. It's one of those things that, he's never had a successful NFL game so far. I know we're only one into it, and I like Genty, but I think most college evaluators agree. It's not like people even saw Bijan coming out of college. I would say Bijan was still probably a prospect tier above Genty, where he was pretty easily. And Bijan had plenty of duds his rookie season as well. You're just a rookie running back in the NFL, again, behind a sketchy offensive line. How much trust can you put into that being a game-winning game plan? And obviously, when you got a guy like Gino that can sling it, it looks like they're you know what? Let's be a more balanced attack. And it's working out pretty well. You obviously have two high-end short yardage target earners in Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers, and then you can kind of mix it up with these young guys. You got Trey Tucker, you got Thornton, who you just drafted as kind of your deep guys. Even Beck got a 22-yard catch. You're just kind of mixing and matching, being smart about it, picking corner mismatches and using those, newer guys. So I think it's a fun, creative offense. I think your biggest enemy is just Brock Bowers' health. That's kind of the question mark here because knee brace in practice, didn't practice until Saturday. That's a concern. That's a big red flag. I expect Bowers to play, but I would not have him at 100%. I would guess he's probably 60%, something like that. And with Michael Mayer already involved and already a part of the offense, they want to do the 12 personnel. They want to do 2 tight end sets. I would expect that to be the case. I think Bowers might even be out there, but I would expect a lot more decoy Brock Bowers and a little bit of a reduction in snaps this week with the injury stuff.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I'm pretty in on Bowers this week. I think I'm gonna be pretty, just because you get the extra day too. I don't think it was as bad as what. I know everybody just kind of freaked when they saw knee stuff. That obviously kind of screams that, but I feel like you're getting pretty good value on some of these lines because he's at 57 yards, I think, right? Is it 57 or 60, something like that? Obviously, I'd be leaning obviously more towards the receptions because that's what I played last week. But yeah, dude, I don't know. I think that'll be a good game, and obviously if Bowers is out, it's a push on all those. But I don't think he'll be as far down as what.
I just think right now he's being priced as a hedge, kind of. He's not being priced that he's going to be his full self. He's being priced that he's going to play and not be 100%, which I think kind of makes sense. So I would either bet 8 catches, 10 catches, and just assume that he's regular Bowers and people got it wrong, or just not touch it at all and go, max unders or whatever, under 30 yards, something like that. I would probably go with the extremes with Bowers just because we don't know. Then for me, the only thing we can really go on, because like you said, Pete Carroll's the least reliable guy of all time, is practice and practice history. And guys that don't practice to the extent he did do not have great histories. And he's a tough guy, and I think he'll tough it out and be out there, but I think it probably impacts his play a little bit.
Minus 118 on MGM. That's not a bad line. Obviously, I'm don't have that access to MGM on my end, but that is a thing that's a DraftKings line right now at the minus 125. I appreciate you dropping that here. Kid named Coop talking about Mayer as well.
I like it.
What is your thoughts on those auxiliary receivers or auxiliary options here in that game. Obviously, you talked about Beck already. Thornton. I saw somebody talk about Thornton already. Let me find that. Ricky Warner with Thornton in there as well. Just another thought. Any one of those guys catching your eye is something that you could bet possibly, even if it's just a long shot related bet.
Yeah, he's I don't know what his props are. He's a guy that I would do like one of those kind of, what do you call it? Like reverse
negative correlated bets.
Yeah, like under receptions, over yards, but I don't even know. He's not popping up for FTN, so I don't even know what his let's see what his props are. It's 25 yards and 2.5 receptions. So yeah, like under 2.5 receptions and over like 50 yards at like plus 600, I think would be how I would play him. Same thing with Trey Tucker, although I love Trey Tucker. I have a decent amount of him in a best ball as well. Just been a fan. He's just like Tutu Atwell, in my opinion, like this kind of gimmicky, like guy that you can scheme up, use in motion, get him mismatches, and he's a spark plug. All these kind of guys, to me, I feel like are underrated, and they're Turpin, and they're finally getting their shine a little bit more. It's like if you're fast as hell and can be, used in creative manners, then you're people I want to have interest in, especially with Gino, who will chuck the ball down the field. So yeah, they made his props kind of hard to bet, but I'd view both of those guys kind of similarly with like under receptions and then take the yards up, or just go like longest reception, because I don't think the volume is going to be good. Like Thornton was a part-time player in college as well. That's why I wasn't even really the biggest fan of him out of the draft. He's big and fast, but like he wasn't even a full-time starter in college. To beat out NFL guys is harder than beating out college guys, although luckily he went to a team with no wide receiver. So good move right there for him. But yeah, I just stick with my boy Jacoby Myers. He's awesome. He's so good. He gets hated on. Everyone doubts him. Good against man, good against zone. He just does everything. Can go slot, can go outside. Like Jacoby Myers is just good. I would just play him over, I think, some of these other guys at their prices. And even I love Trey Tucker. Under 30 yards might be a good look. I think that's a little extreme, unless you think it's a shootout, or under maybe whatever receptions is, But yeah, I think all those guys are live for like 40-yard catches, because I think Gino's going to hit a bomb in this one. He loves to throw deep, and it's a cover 2 oriented team, so they will try to take away that. But I think with all these like Thorin, Tucker, Beck, all these guys, I think he's going to take a couple, and good chance he hits.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's do a quick recap, Sue, and we'll get everybody out of here. 60 of you guys in here live. Still an hour into it with us. We appreciate you.
Sounds good. We got CJ Stroud over 21.5 completions, minus 105 FanDuel. Somebody earlier said 20.5 on 365. I think like MGM has it as well. I just try to have the more widely available one there, but obviously 20 is in fact better than 21.5, so I would take that as well.
Awesome. I will get to mine. Gino 34 pass attempts. Over at this is on DraftKings there. Sorry, my thing's blowing up again. I just saw JJ McCarthy has a sore ankle. Oh man, probably should just. I think that's just a way of saying they're gonna bench his ass anyway, because he's fucking horrible.
Who's their backup though? Did they talk about it?
I don't know. Hopefully they have a good backup, because McCarthy's gonna be sitting a lot. I think he's fucking horrible. So let's those are our recap here, Stu. Let's take a look. I think I saw one more thing in the chat. Dylan bringing up Hampton rush yards. Thoughts here? Obviously, you brought up possibly having a little more Najee in this game as well, with the front seven that they should be able to expose on the ground a little bit today. I guess it's tough because we haven't seen Herbert look that good in a long. He looked amazing against the Chiefs defense there. And obviously, they can cook probably pretty much any defense with if they can actually have Quentin Johnson catch passes. So they'll have a lot of different options there. Any thoughts here with on Dylan's question?
Yeah, I see a lot of people on Hampton rushing, and I agree. I think it makes sense. Like it's just Roman. They came out. It was a good game plan, but they're going to go to what they love, and it's running the ball. And they drafted this guy for a reason. Yeah, I will say though, Najee, I don't know what it is. Like Najee, 25 rush yards is getting a bet for me 100%. I know it's ugly, but man, that would be such a Roman thing to do, especially with Najee only practicing once or twice before last game, and he even then still got a couple carries. Imagine now you get a little bit more practice, a little bit more involved. They trust the veterans. I just think let me see what it is. I was hoping a better price. It's only plus 150. That actually kind of fucking sucks, honestly. But yeah, maybe I'll put a couple bucks on like 40 plus or touchdown or something like that. Just because I think Najee could play spoiler a little bit today. But overall, I like Hampton. I wouldn't play it over like 60 though. It opened at like 50. It's already at like 56. I would not keep chasing that steam as it gets bet up more and more. But I like the logic 100%.
Yeah, you guys also got to remember when there's like a 2-game slate like this, people are excited to get out there and just bet on both games and put a parlay on from both sides. So I feel like that's kind of what it is. People see the new shiny thing in Hampton right there. They're like, oh, this Rangers defense probably can't stop anybody, right? They've never been able to. And it's like, oh, throw it in a parlay with, whoever, Baker from the first game or whoever. So a lot of people bet like that too when you got these 2-game spots. You can just throw them on there and obviously do that. So Carson Wentz, that's
there you go.
Better. I'd fucking bet them then. Woo!
So
I'm going to bet the Vikings this week, it looks like, bro. Fuck.
Named the starter, and then Wentz versus Browning. Wow.
Vikings are going to win that shit, bro.
NFL script writers. How about that? I mean, that's funny as hell. And yeah, I agree because better coaching on Vikings side, good supporting cast. I mean, good defense. Yeah. Although I don't want to give out all the secret sauce, but it's going to be check down city for Browning. Like, give me Chase Brown receptions.
I think I call out I think you're trying to throw it in with something from the other game. I think that's what I think that's what he thinks I was calling him out by. But I do not. You are not the only one. I have a lot of buddies who do it that same way. Where they're like, "Whoa, 2 games tonight, dude! I got to play it on both, right?" Because usually we don't get these on the Monday night slates, and obviously Thursday night you can't really pair it because they haven't really given you everything for the weekend there, but give me that, dude. Give me that Carson Wentz, baby. Give me that 100. Yeah, so that okay. I did see that right. Okay, perfect. So, Stu, anything else from you? We're over an hour. We still got 55 people in here joining us. I believe we're over 30 likes on the show, which is fantastic for live. We appreciate all the support as always. Anything else from you, Stu, before we get out today?
Yeah, I mean, I'll say I don't have any long shots bet yet, but I think I'm going to do a little quarterback like round robin, with 25 for Stroud, Baker, and Herbert. I think that's fun. I mean, I don't know what the odds are or anything like that. I haven't brought it up, but all 3 of those guys I like. Someone brought up Baker rushing in the very beginning. And 100% like that look as well. He's going to be forced to run. I already talked about CJ being forced out of the pocket. And then Herbert, I mean, it's kind of caught up. I wish I bet it. Elijah asked in the chat about it last week, about checkdowns. And I was like, no, Herbert rushing. But I had my bets in. I was already feeling good. I didn't want to overdo it. But, man, I regretted it because he played last year with the fucking high ankle sprain. And they set the lines exactly the same as they were last year. So I think Herbert rushing continues to be a good look. I just don't think there's as much value. So I'll respond to this tweet or quote tweet or something with whenever I do get the best odds, but a little like quarterback rushing round robin. But yeah, besides that, the last one I'll say to Dameon Pierce, it's not anywhere, but 25 rush yards is 500 on Hard Rock and 400 on ESPN. Once again, if we're right about Nick Chubb going out there, sucking, running, I still think they're going to keep trying to run the ball. I know the quotes are positive about Chubb, but if he starts the game 8 for 12, there's only so much a positive quote can get you from before the game. So Pierce at 25 yards, he'd probably have to break like a 16, 18-yarder. It's a long shot for a reason, but man, that RB room sucks, and I feel like they might just go away from Chubb eventually. Or Pierce could get some kind of garbage time as well. So I'm just rooting for the worst players tonight. I think I've decided that. Like whatever Rashad White yards is, just give me that too. I'll just take all the bums. We'll do Rashad, Najee, and just do a little Dameon Pierce backup running back parlay.
Hey, that might be the way I do it. Maybe I'll sprinkle one. I'll usually on these 2-game slates I'll do like a 5, like those 5 entry max DFS lineups that are like $3. Maybe I'll have one with Dameon Pierce, and if he scores me a touchdown, bro, talk about being different. Talk about being different on a 2-gamer, bro.
What's his touchdown? Because I mean, I
think this might be too much Dameon Pierce talk for a fucking show when you have some big time dudes in this game. Oh my god,
it's 700 for a touchdown.
Should be like 1,500.
And honestly, with my logic, right? I'm second half touchdown makes more sense because if their quotes are positive about Chubb, he gets the first half work. But my bet is assuming he sucks, so maybe I'll do like.
I mean, he could suck and be out by the third drive, though.
No, that's possible, but 3 drives might take 2 hours in this game. Unfortunately, we'll see.
But I don't think that's the thing is I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball either side. Really, I think there's going to be
I don't either,
bro.
I don't either. I'm just saying it's one of those things where you look at it and you just go, like, it's 9 yards. You know what I mean? It's like Chubb sucks. We can all kind of it's 3.5. Yep, makes sense.
That's for the Washington one, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah, I got a little 6.5 there. I'll probably buy back a little bit.
Hopefully, the 55 people that were in here live when I talked about it on here got that in because my book shut it down immediately. They were fucking shut down and opened it back up at 4. I'm like, God damn, bro, that sucks. But yeah, love to see it. Obviously, appreciate you guys popping in here. Jay Easy talking about the ugly running back bets. Last one, Tyler. Waited till the last second to get a question. And thoughts on Ladd anytime touchdown? I'm usually more on like the buy downs for Ladd. I love how consistent he is as a receiver. So I'm usually more of like his 5 catches paired with something and 50 yards. Like he's all reliable, man. So those are usually where I go for Ladd. Obviously, I have him in fantasy, so I'm a very biased person. I've had Ladd the last 2 years now. So I guess I'll kick it to you, Sue. My issue here, I guess, is you do have those Najee Harris inside the 5, probably running that. He's not really going to be a guy that's, getting jump balls in the end zone. You're going to have to make it kind of happen from a decent distance away. But I don't hate it. I think they'll be able to score some points here, dude. I think the points are going to come. But I don't know. That's usually how I play them, usually in yards and stuff like that, just because he's not really that guy that you can throw the ball up to in the end zone. Do you have any thoughts on anytime touchdown here for that?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, it's like I would probably the plus 160 is the best I see right now. It would have to be better like that or better, just because I said this to you when we were drafting our best ball team of like, I like Ladd. I'm a huge fan of the talent. I think he's really good. Keenan Allen is not nothing. It's not like an Amari Cooper signing, one of those random vets. Like Keenan Allen can come in and do exactly what he did in week 1, which is catch 10 passes immediately. Like he's just such a reliable, easy over the middle target.
For 4 weeks.
No, I was going to say, this is one of the weeks. I was getting into the injury thing, but this is one of the weeks. So we still got him there. And then Quentin Johnston apparently learned how to play football over these last 2 summers. Good for him. Yeah, just it's I like Ladd, but I just nothing makes me go out of my way to bet it. So
I will say he should have had one last week. Herbert missed him by like 2 yards on an overthrow where he had the guy beat. So that does make his line look way fucking better. Over 100 yards and a touchdown, 8 catches versus 74 on 8 catches or on 7 catches, whatever it was. That's a big difference. Like you could have seen his number be like minus or like plus 110 if he catches that. And he was open on that. It was one of 2 throws that Herbert missed last week. And I feel like that was pretty big because I saw a lot of people talking about it, but he had him beat there. But appreciate you guys for joining us here. So I will get us out of here. Over an hour on a Monday. Now, usually what happens when we got 2 games, obviously we can break them down pretty good. If you guys could, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Make sure you put the notification bell on because we are, during NFL, sometimes it's within a 30-minute period. So I guess benefits of subscribing, I think I saw CD putting that notification bell on so you know when we're starting. So you can bring your questions and make sure we get everything in there for you. Just because we are usually within an hour of that noon time, right? I think today was more like 12:30. I know we went a little earlier on the Friday because I obviously had that wedding. So it made it pretty crazy. But that is something that I feel like if you are subbed to the channel, make sure you hit that notification bell because we do have, a little bit of room there. If you don't want to have to check Twitter constantly to know when we're going live. But appreciate you guys. 2 games. Hopefully we can get another 2 wins. We would have a 5-1 week if we can get this one done today, and hopefully we can. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and we will catch you guys on Wednesday talking about the Thursday Night Football game. So have a good one, guys, and good luck tonight.